Hey folks, welcome to the Science of Winning podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about the power of optimism and why that is so important and why it's so timely for me, particularly right now as I'm recording this episode. This podcast is about winning. Essentially, it's about winning in your personal life. It's about winning in your professional life. It's about winning in all aspects of your life because you being on this earth deserve to win. And what we try to do with individuals is try to educate them on different strategies and practical ways to actually get ahead in life and get those things that you want and feel the way that you want. And that's essentially what winning is. There is no cookie cutter approach to winning, but there are some similarities. And those are the things that I cover in each episode because everything that I talk about falls within three main buckets. The first bucket is strategy, which is your approach to winning. The second bucket is state, which is how you show up every moment to win. And the third bucket is systems. And systems are essentially the processes, the operating procedures, the habits, the routines, the technology, the automations, all those different kinds of things that you put into place to win. So you have strategies, state, and systems. And today I'm going to be focusing on one core element of state because how you show up every moment is a critical factor to winning because you can put two people side by side and give them the exact same resources, the exact same plan. And if one person has a better state than the other person, they are going to outperform every single time because state has a dramatic effect on performance. And I learned this through my work and experience over the last 30 plus years. And when I was a personal trainer at a very young age, at 17, I realized, a plan doesn't do anything if the person isn't in the correct or optimal state to execute on it. Because people would just take my workout plan and some people would execute effectively, other people would not. And some people would just flat out not do it. And it all came down to state. And optimism is a critical part of state because there's a number of reasons for that. And we're going to talk about the science and psychology behind this as well. But optimism is a core aspect. You can say it's a trait, it's a characteristic, but essentially it's a choice. It's a choice to look for opportunity and the good things and the light at the end of the tunnel, as opposed to the darkness, the dead end, and closure. And you can say almost like a defensiveness. So on one end, you have optimism, which is I'm looking forward to something, even though things may not be going well, and I can find something good in this, as opposed to I'm always going to be looking for something bad, or just shut my eyes, ears, and my senses off to anything good that can come my way. This is very important because a core part of performance is creativity. It's about being able to solve problems. It's about finding solutions, but it's also about having a high level of energy that you have within yourself, so your body and your mind, right? Because your body and your mind consume energy. The more energy that you have, and there's different levels of energy, cognitive, emotional, physical, and spiritual energy. Not only do you perform better, but other people around you, when you have a higher level of energy, perform better as well, because we transfer and absorb energy. So we basically integrate our energy with the people around us. So the higher energy you are, the higher energy that people around you have. And in order to have a high level of energy, you need to be optimistic. It's a core part. It's a core characteristic that we've seen consistent amongst all high performers, people who are successful through our studies. So optimism leads to greater energy. People who are not optimistic, you can see from their mindset, but also from their physical, you can say the way they operate, they typically don't have the same level of energy. And so not only do you require optimism to be creative, because you can't be creative unless you're optimistic. It's almost like a mental block. If you are in a negative state or not optimistic, it's harder to be creative. My whole background is studies in creativity and innovation as well, and learning. And people who are in an optimistic state have better learning. They're more optimal in terms of creativity and innovation. Those who are not innovative, right? So those are the two ends of the spectrum, and everybody falls within some area, right? It's hopefully not a polar in terms of being negative, and on the extreme end. And very few people are actually extreme on the optimistic end. They fall somewhere in between. But if you lean more towards the spectrum of being optimistic, you're going to be more successful in life. for me, this is very timely because I'm sharing this at a time where I just got, a couple hours before releasing this, notification where one of my really good childhood friends has just gotten into a serious accident and is in intensive care. And I'm nowhere near, I'm on the other side of the country. And so many things went through my mind. Obviously, how's he doing? How's his family doing? All these different kinds of things. But I had to revert back to my level of optimism because he is a strong man. He will get through this somehow, shape, or form, and his family will get through this. I have to believe in that because that enables me not only to feel better, but to be able to come up with some creative solutions, to be able to think, okay, how can I help this family? How can I help my friend in any way? How can I support other people? It's tougher to do that if I'm not in a state of optimism. And some people may think or may say, hey, Pradeep, be like, you're not being human. You're not being compassionate when you don't go into those other types of emotions like negativity and sadness or anger or whatever it is. No, that's not necessarily the case. I can feel other people's anger and sadness and all those different emotions. But I choose not to take them on because if I take those on, that doesn't do anybody any good. So this is the difference here between being a person who's optimistic but also compassionate versus a person who is feeling like they're being empathetic or compassionate with other people by going down that same path of being negative or having anger. You can feel those emotions with that individual. Just don't sit and bathe and soak in them for a long period of time. And that is a difference. We all go through challenges and tough times in life, but it's how fast we pull ourselves out of those disempowering emotions and those states to pull ourselves into an optimistic state that get us to that finish line where we feel and are winning. And that's ultimately what it's about. When you are in a more optimistic state, you are far more likely to win, to be successful, but also help other people be successful as well. And that's a core part of being human, is not just doing it for ourselves, but doing it for other people. So I hope this aspect really comes home for you because it is the most consistent characteristic or trait that we have seen positively impact people's performance and well-being. It is so, so powerful, both cognitively, but physically as well, and energetically. It's something we all need to practice more, and I hope you practice that today throughout your day as well.